Hello guys, today I want to talk about bounties, right? Given everything recently that's gone on, bounties seems like where it's at and speculating. Now, of course, we're still in the middle of the action. We don't know how it will all end up and what will be where, who would have done what, and who would have contributed to what extent. But it's interesting nonetheless to talk about. So let's speculate the Straw Hat bounties after we finish this Wano arc. And of course, if you guys haven't done this already, please subscribe, right? You see the videos are interesting, you stay, you enjoy it, and then you forget to subscribe because you know what, you're just enjoying it too much. So this is just a little friendly reminder. And again, some of you come, you hear the video, you're like, very interesting, but I don't want to get spoiled. So for those of you who are like that, just check in the description if you're not up to date. There's a tag for where you have to be to watch this video without any spoilers if you're not up to date. But yeah, now that you've done that already, let's get into the video. So, starting with Chopper, I think there's two possibilities, right? Because again, at the end of the day, it's all about perception, right? It's never about what you've actually done. It's about how it's perceived by people, whether it's big news in the World Economic Journal, whether it is the Marines, whether it is the world government. It's all about how it is perceived. That is where your bounty comes from. So, for Chopper, we have two ways. We can go with the gag version and go with the fact that, Chopper's bounty may just be 200, right? I know Drake is there. Drake just saw Chopper slap Queen across the face. But at the end of the day, maybe Drake can't report it back, right? Because Drake is undercover in Sword, which is top secret. So I assume not all the Marines know about this, right? So if Drake reports and someone asks, I don't know, maybe Kobe, where did you get this information from? Kobe can't say it was from Drake, right? So who knows? Maybe Drake saw this, but, it won't get reported. So at the end of the day, Chopper will just have 200 berries, just, another low, sad bounty for himself. But maybe it can get reported. Maybe Chopper does more that's seen, and he goes up to where I think he could be, which is 220 million berries. So, the two bounties, we'll probably see how it turns out as the battle goes, but those are my predictions for now. Then we get to Nami. As much as Nami is great, she's useful, she's smart, she's resourceful, I don't see her being able to do anything that Navy would be impressed by, except for maybe something with Zeus being Big Mom's homie. And if she does do that, then potentially she could go up to 180 million berries because it's Big Mom's homie, and on top of that, she's in a Straw Hat crew that just took down Big Mom and Kaido. I mean, maybe not killed them, but took them down, make them take an L, however you want to say it. She was part of that. Then we get on to the man himself. For now, we're going to call him Captain Usopp because Oda always gives him a different name, right? First, he was Soge King, and then he became God Usopp. Now he can be Captain. The only reason I picked Captain for now is because right now they have a lot of Beast Pirates changing to their sides, right? And we could have the whole coming true of Usopp's lies in the fact that he says he has 8,000 men under him, right? So all the guys following them could number up to 8,000, which could be mentioned since they periodically mention how the numbers are changing on the battlefield, and all those guys could follow Usopp and Nami and Tama right behind them, and that would be a great moment, the Captain Usopp with his 8,000 men. So I don't know yet, but that seems like a great moment. And because of that, and as well as Usopp probably getting a clutch moment later on, I'm going to give him 350 million berries because he's already at 200. So going up from there, I don't think it'll be hard for Usopp. Next, we get on to Nico Robin. Now, a lot of people complain about why Robin's bounty hasn't gone any higher. And at least from the way I understand it is that Robin being able to read poneglyphs and decipher them and, potentially be a threat to world government was valued at 80 million berries. Now, as far as they know, she hasn't really read that much, or she hasn't really come across many poneglyphs for them to kind of up her bounty. So she stayed at the more or less at where she was previously valued. That's the reason why it hasn't increased exponentially as some people thought it may. But after this battle, seeing that these Straw Hats are now much closer, they potentially maybe even taken some poneglyphs from these Yonko, I think they'll be like, she may have read some stuff, she may have helped them a bit, so let's just increase her bounty because this is getting to a dangerous level, so let's take it to 300 million berries, and that's what we will give her because, at this point, she's becoming very actively dangerous, not just in a passive way, as in she could, but she may have already started to read these things and give out information. Then we get to Franky. He's basically got two parts to him. He's got the part in which everyone looks at him and sees pacifista but better, Vegapunk technology. There's that part to it. And then there's the part where he's kind of like, he's indestructible, he's like Cracker, right? And how Cracker was valued because his armor was so strong. And they didn't even know it was not even Cracker himself, but his armor. But so Franky has those two parts to him, and together I think, based on the fact that, CP0 see that, Drake will see that, we're gonna give him 480 berries. Now, I know he's fighting Sasuke, but that doesn't really matter, I would say, because not many people know that, right? And also, Sasuke is like, how valuable is it that he beat Sasuke? So, yeah, for those reasons, it's mainly gonna probably come from the whole Vegapunk and pacifista stuff, and all the indestructible stuff that he has going on, and how, his technology is just really dangerous. Then we get on to Brook. I liked his poster, so I just kept it the same. I just changed the number at the bottom. And I think he's going to get a bounty of 430. Now, we know that Brook is fighting with Robin against Black Maria. Black Maria kind of took it upon herself to kind of kidnap Robin so that, she could present her to Kaido and use her to help the Beast Pirates. Now, I do think that this may end up being a big plot point in which she maybe kind of gets kidnapped and maybe they start losing a bit, right, to Black Maria, because we don't know how strong Black Maria is. Black Maria took it as an insult when Jack said that she can't handle the scabbards. So Black Maria really may, she could be one of the strongest Tobiropo, if not the strongest. We don't know much about her. So there may be a situation in which Robin and Brook are kind of losing, but in the end, Brook helps and, they kind of take the W in the end, but it will be perceived that Brook kind of saved Robin. So that whole interaction, I'm guessing, will help Brook improve his bounty. Now we move from there to Jinbe, the last person before the monster trio. And I think that Jinbe, for the most part, his bounty may end up coming from two places. One, Jinbe, for the most part, we don't really know how much Jinbe is actually valued at, because Jinbe is really strong. He was a warlord when you met him, so his bounty was frozen. Then he wasn't a warlord, so we don't really know his bounty. And then he kind of has connections with Big Mom. He kind of had connections all the way with the Straw Hat Pirates, with Whitebeard. So now that they're actually doing warlord bounties, I expect that, they will value Jinbe and then say, okay, we valued him at this, but given the fact that he's also done this stuff, to take down Kaido with the Straw Hats, he has to be valued at more. Then we have the whole who's who. Now, I don't know who who's who is. That was a very confusing line to say, but it may be someone who, the world government knows. They know this guy. I mean, he knows Jinbe, but, he may be known by the world government as well. And to find out that, he had an interaction with him, maybe that may play a role into his bounty as well. But I have Jinbe post Wano at 856 million. Why 856 exactly? Why not? I just had to make some random accurate number because that's kind of what it is sometimes in One Piece. You wonder why the numbers are specific like that. Maybe there'll be a joke with it, but maybe not. But around 856. Then we have Sanji. Now for Sanji, once again, I have two bounties for him. One bounty, it depends on whether they see what he does or not, because that's always what's important. Because Sanji could do something really clutch, like the Gates of Justice in Enies Lobby. That was a great moment. But no one really saw it. So, he may have a moment in which, especially because he's invisible now, what he does may not be seen. And so they may not give him the bounty he deserves. In that case, I expect that they'll give him a bounty of 700 million. Really great, really good that he's taken on so many people, but 700 million, he'll be upset because whatever he did, which could be a big thing, was just not seen by people. No one knew that he actually did it, except for maybe the pirates. So, yeah, 700 million, which is a bit sad, but, a bit realistic, given, Sanji and the fact that, sometimes we don't know what he's up to until the end. And then we have, the more realistic, not realistic, but the more, well, I'll just say realistic to his ability, which would be 1.7 billion, right? Why 1.7 billion? That seems really high. Yeah, right now we're just going high. We're just pushing the boundaries of how high these guys' bounties could go. Why? Because Sanji could have, moments against Queen and, King, all these guys who are above a billion, right? And he could show out to be really great. He could take one of them down. He could do that and then go against other people, fight them, help take them down. And you know, the limit, there's just really no limit. So Sanji doing enough stuff to get up to 1.7 billion is not crazy. And why 1.7 billion exactly, we'll see when we get to Zoro, because that's where the whole interesting interaction comes in. Now, for the picture at 1.7 billion, if you're wondering why I picked such a picture, it's because Sanji's pictures are always funny to look at or interesting, right? The first one where the guy kind of messed up taking a photo, the camera lens was still on, so they didn't take a picture and they had to make a sketch. Then we have the one of him chasing after women, a classic Sanji thing to do. So I tried to think, what other classic Sanji thing is there? And the first thing that came to my mind was getting beaten up for being, you know, all lovey-dovey with women. So that being the case, I could see a moment in which post Wano, you know, they come taking pictures, you know, and then maybe Sanji just kind of, you know, wanted to look at Nami in the bath or Robin or something like that, and then he gets beaten up and that's when they take his picture. So something like that being his picture, I would absolutely love it, and that's why that's his picture, if you were wondering. Now we get to one Roro no Zoro. And as much as I like Zoro's bounty to be higher, I think even what I'm saying is a reach or potential reach based on what Zoro could go on to do. Now I know that Zoro has done a lot in scarring Kaido, Ashura, conquers Haki, you know, halting ocean conquest for a while, and there's so much we can say that Zoro's done. But at the end of the day, like I said at the beginning, it's all about what Drake and CP0 actually see. As far as they're concerned, Drake just knows that Zoro went up to fight Kaido and Big Mom. He doesn't know what happened, right? All he knows is that Zoro went up and potentially, you know, Zoro could come down beaten up. That is all Drake saw. So based on that, right, if you're Drake, what bounty do you give Zoro? He went up to fight Kaido, he came down beaten up. So yeah, there's that issue, right? That even though Zoro has accomplished so much, it may not reflect in his actual bounty. But the arc is not over, and Zoro still has time to, you know, pull out the feats so that, you know, his bounty can reflect his actual power. But that's only depending on how much he heals up, and, you know, again, will it be seen or not? So I like to give him the benefit of the doubt and give him a 1.8 billion berry bounty, right? Potentially above King if he does fight King, not saying he will, but if he does, above King, because we don't know King's bounty, but it should be higher than 1.32, which is Queen's, and Zoro going north of that. 1.8 is not that crazy, but also because of the relationship with Sanji, in which that's 100 million higher than Sanji, so the rivalry stays alive and strong. Now finally we get on to Monkey D. Luffy. Now this one I have been debating in my head for a long time, because sometimes you want to say something's too high, but then you really think about it and you're like, is it too high? And so I just decided at the end of the day, I'm going to give him a 3.5 billion. And I think that that is really, you know, realistic possibly at this point. Maybe even 4 billion. Because 4 billion flat would be slightly lower than Shanks, so Luffy kind of meeting Shanks when their bounties are almost the same will be great, right? His crew would have matched Shanks' crew in some regard. So for now, I'm just going to say 3.5. I know 4 billion is nice, but 3.5, because that's where I'm at. And one thing to note about the whole 3.5 is the whole point of Luffy going toe-to-toe with Kaido, because that's what seems like it will happen. Because, you know, Drake is not a dumb guy. If he sees like these guys come down, then he must know that up there is only like Luffy and Kaido, right? So going toe-to-toe with Kaido, helping take down two Yonko and all these things, it's fine. Like 3.5, it's up there, it's good. It's nowhere near Kaido's 4.6, so it's great in that regard. Also, it's nowhere near Kaido's because that's not kind of how it works when it's team battles as far as bounties. Law and Luffy went to fight Dofi, but, you know, as much as Luffy put in more work, they got the same bounty at the end, both 500 million. So Luffy going high, but not too high to Kaido's bounty, near that range, makes sense. It's still 1 billion lower than Kaido's bounty. That still makes sense. And in relation to Blackbeard, I believe that Blackbeard is a guy who never really is consistent with his exploits in the world. He's kind of a guy who does it in bursts, right? So right now I believe that Blackbeard's just been holding back. He's been chilling, right? He's been getting stronger, but he's just been chilling, not doing anything about it. And then now he's set out to sea. So whatever he does now will show that, okay, this guy's actually been getting stronger. Plus he just got this, whatever it is. So he's even stronger. So whatever Blackbeard will get will be even higher than what Luffy will have. So I don't think it's really an issue with the Blackbeard Luffy. And yeah, that brings me to the end of the Straw Hats. Now, the last thing I want to talk about really quickly is potential Straw Hats in Momonosuke, Yamato, and Carrot. Now, I know it doesn't matter, everyone has their own opinion of who will join, who won't join. Maybe they all will join, maybe they all won't. But for now, we'll assume that they all will join, right? And my question for you guys is, what bounty do you guys think these guys will have if they join? For me, personally, I think Momonosuke 10 million, right? Finding out that he's supposed to be the heir of Wano, he's Oden's son, Oden already has a bounty, and the fact that this kid has Kaido's devil fruit that Vegapunk made, that again, those three things, 10 million for an 8-year-old boy, that's enough. I mean, I think it could be higher, but I think that's enough. Then we have Carrot 200, and I only say 200 million, right? And I only say 200 million because Chopper would be a bit upset, because for me that's kind of where Chopper's bounty should be, but Carrot getting that instead would be a bit funny because of the relationship between Chopper and Carrot. And then we've got Yamato, of course, child of Kaido, as strong as she is, we don't know how strong, but super strong nonetheless, showing out first bounty 500 million. As crazy as that seems, it's impressive, and she can only grow from there. But let me know what you guys think on everything I've said, bounties, reasonings, and the posters as well, the pictures. Did I pick good pictures? Did I pick bad pictures? Tell me what you guys think and all those stuff down in the comment section down below. Like this video if you like the video, and subscribe for more content. If you know someone who needs the truth, please share this video with them. If you have time, watch one of my videos, and if not, thank you for watching this video to the end, guys. This is King KZ, and I'll see you in the next one.